Blue fire covers the wings. Nothing's burning, but something's wrong. Engine 4 dies, then 2, 1, 3. All 4 engines shut down. In 90 seconds, the 747 goes silent, just wind, and 263 passengers. This is British Airways Flight 9. June 24, 1982. A Boeing 747-200 called City of Edinburgh, flying from Kuala Lumpur to Perth, Australia. There are 263 people on board, 248 passengers, 15 crew. The aircraft is at 37,000 feet over the Indian Ocean, roughly 110 miles southeast of Jakarta, Indonesia. It's just past 8:40 p.m. local time. The night is clear, and now, impossibly, all 4 engines are dead. The plane is gliding, falling, with no power, no thrust, nothing to keep it in the sky. They have maybe 15 minutes before they hit the water. Earlier that evening, everything is routine. Captain Eric Moody, 41 years old, experienced and calm, is in command. Next to him is Senior First Officer Roger Greaves, 32, sharp and methodical. Behind them sits Senior Flight Engineer Barry Townley Freeman, 40, responsible for monitoring all the aircraft systems. They've flown this route before. London to Auckland with stops along the way. Kuala Lumpur to Perth is just another leg. The passengers settle in after boarding. Some sleep, some read. Some look out at the darkness below, the scattered lights of Indonesian islands barely visible through the clouds. The cabin crew serves drinks and meals. The cockpit is quiet, professional. Radio calls, course corrections, standard procedures. The 747 climbs to cruising altitude and levels off. The autopilot is engaged. Everything is normal. Around 8:40 p.m. something changes. Roger Greaves notices it first, a faint glow on the windscreen. St. Elmo's fire. It's a static discharge, harmless, looks like pale blue flames dancing on the glass. Pilots see it sometimes in thunderstorms, but there's no storm. The sky is clear. Moody glances at it. Unusual but not alarming. Then the glow intensifies, it spreads. The whole cockpit starts shimmering with this eerie blue-white light. The wings outside are lit up, glowing like neon. It's beautiful and unsettling. Greaves points. "That's not normal," he says. Moody nods. He's watching the instruments. Nothing wrong. Engines running fine. All systems green. Then the smell hits. It comes through the air vents. Acrid, chemical, like burnt wiring or sulfur. Townley Freeman catches it first. He's scanning his panel, looking for an electrical fire, some short circuit. Nothing. The smell gets stronger. Smoke starts seeping into the cockpit, not thick, just wisps, but it's there. In the cabin, passengers start noticing. The air tastes strange. Some people cough. A flight attendant picks up the interphone, calls the cockpit. "We're getting smoke back here," she says. Moody acknowledges. He's still looking for the source. The instruments aren't showing anything. No fire warnings. No system failures. Just this smell, this smoke, and that strange glow outside. At 8:42 p.m., the number 4 engine starts surging. The RPM gauge jumps. The engine coughs. Townley Freeman sees it immediately. "Number 4's acting up," he says. Moody's hand moves to the throttle. Before he can adjust it, the engine quits, just stops. The fire warning light doesn't come on. The gauges show a flameout. The engine simply died. Moody feels the asymmetric thrust pulling the aircraft slightly. He compensates, trims it out. A 747 can fly on 3 engines. They've trained for this. But Greaves is already pointing at another gauge. "Number 2, he says. The number 2 engine is surging now, spooling down. Moody watches, his jaw tight. The engine dies, 2 engines gone, 60 seconds. Now it's serious. Moody keys the radio. "Jakarta, Speedbird 9, we have an emergency." The controller responds, his voice professional. Moody's eyes are on the panel. Number 1 engine is dying. He can see the gauges falling. "We're losing engines," Moody says into the radio. His voice is steady, calm. Then number 3 goes, the last engine. 4 flameouts in 90 seconds. The 747 is silent. No engine noise, no thrust. Just the rush of air over the fuselage and the whine of systems running on backup power. The plane is a 400-ton glider falling through the night sky at 2,000 feet per minute. Moody doesn't panic. His hands move automatically. He pushes the nose down slightly, maintaining airspeed. Too slow and they'll stall. Too steep and they'll lose altitude too fast. He needs to find the sweet spot, the glide ratio. Greaves is already calculating. We're descending at about 2,000 feet per minute, he says. Moody nods. That gives them maybe 18 minutes from 37,000 feet. 18 minutes to figure this out or hit the ocean. Townley Freeman is running through the engine restart checklist. It's a procedure they've practiced in simulators but never expected to use. One engine failing maybe, two in extreme circumstances, but all four. That's not supposed to happen, not ever. Moody picks up the cabin in her phone. He knows the passengers have felt the engine stop. They've heard the change in sound. The cabin crew will be getting questions, seeing fear. He needs to say something. He takes a breath and speaks, his voice absolutely calm. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have a small problem. All four engines have stopped. We are doing our damnedest to get them going again. I trust you are not in too much distress." The understatement is deliberate, British, calming. In the cabin, passengers stare at each other. Some start crying. Others sit in shocked silence. The flight attendants move through the aisles, their faces calm, professional, hiding their own terror. In the cockpit, Townley Freeman is trying everything. Engine restart procedures require certain conditions: airspeed, altitude, fuel pressure. He's checking every gauge, flipping switches, adjusting fuel flow. Moody and Greaves are focused on keeping the aircraft flying. The autopilot is off now. Moody is hand-flying, feeling the controls, managing their descent. Jakarta is offering them options. Return to Jakarta, divert to another airport. But they need engines. Without engines, they're not going anywhere except down. Greaves is calculating glide distance. "If we maintain this descent rate," he says, "we might make Jakarta. Might, not will, might." They descend through 30,000 feet. Then 25,000, the ocean is getting closer. Moody is thinking about ditching procedures. A water landing at night in a 747. The survival rate for that is nearly zero. He pushes the thought aside. Focus on what you can control. Townley Freeman keeps trying engine restarts. Nothing. The engines are completely dead. He cycles through the restart procedure again and again. 15,000 feet, 12,000. Moody's voice on the radio is still calm, still professional, giving position updates to Jakarta. Inside, he's running scenarios. Can't restart the engines, they have maybe 5 minutes until impact. He'll try to ditch parallel to the swells, keep the wings level, pray the fuselage stays intact long enough for people to get out. It's a plan. It's a bad plan, but it's all they have. At 12,000 feet, something changes. They've descended low enough that the air is different, denser, cooler. Townley Freeman tries the restart procedure on engine number 4 again. The starter engages. The engine spools up. "We've got 4. He shouts. Moody feels a surge of hope. One engine is enough. One engine can keep them in the air. Greaves is already moving to engine number 3. The starter engages. The engine catches, winds to life. 3's running. 2 engines now. They're not falling anymore. Moody advances the throttles carefully. The engines respond. The 747 levels off at 12,000 feet. Engine number 1 restarts next. Then number 2 starts but immediately starts vibrating badly. Townley Freeman shuts it down. 3 engines. 3 is plenty. 3 is everything. Moody allows himself a breath. They're flying again, but they're not safe. The aircraft is damaged. The engines that restarted are running but rough, unreliable. And as they approach Jakarta, Moody realizes another problem. The windscreen is opaque. The volcanic ash, whatever they flew through, sandblasted the glass. He can barely see through it. It's like looking through frosted glass. The landing lights are gone too, ground down to nothing. Greaves is trying to see through the side windows. Townley Freeman is coordinating with Jakarta on the radio, getting vectors for Halim Perdanakusuma International Airport. They're cleared for an emergency landing. Moody sets up for an instrument approach. He can't see the runway, can't see anything. He's flying by instruments, following the glide slope indicator, trusting the numbers. Greaves is leaning forward, craning his neck, trying to get any visual reference through the side window. "I've got lights," he says. Moody squints through the sand-blasted windscreen. He can make out shapes, blurs of light not enough. He commits to the instruments. The altimeter unwinds. 500 feet, 400, Greaves is calling out what he can see. Runways ahead, can't tell how far. 300 feet, 200. Moody eases back on the yoke. The main gear touches. The 747 settles onto the runway. Moody applies brakes. The engines spool down. They roll to a stop. It's 9:08 p.m. 26 minutes since the first engine failed. Every single person on board is alive. The investigation afterward pieced it together. Mount Galunggung, a volcano 110 miles southeast of Jakarta, had erupted. The eruption sent a massive plume of volcanic ash into the atmosphere, invisible at night, undetectable by radar. Flight 9 flew straight through it. The ash entered the engines, melted in the combustion chambers where temperatures exceed 1,400 degrees Celsius, and fused into glass, coating the turbine blades and choking off airflow. That's why the engines died. The ash also sandblasted the windscreen and landing lights, filled the cabin with acrid smoke, and caused the St. Elmo's fire as static electricity discharged through the ash-laden air. When the aircraft descended below the ash cloud, cooler air allowed some of the melted glass to crack and break off, letting the engines restart. It was luck. Terrible luck to fly into it. Incredible luck to survive it. The damage to city of Edinburgh was extensive. All 4 engines had to be replaced. The windscreen was replaced. The entire aircraft was cleaned, inside and out, to remove ash contamination. The repair costs ran into the millions, but more importantly, the incident changed aviation. The International Civil Aviation Organization issued warnings about volcanic ash. New procedures were developed. Volcanic ash advisory centers were established around the world to monitor and track ash clouds. Pilots were trained to recognize ash encounters and avoid them. The industry learned that volcanic ash, invisible and undetectable, was a deadly threat to jet engines. Flight 9 became the textbook case. Captain Eric Moody, First Officer Roger Greaves, and Flight Engineer Barry Townley Freeman were hailed as heroes. They received awards for airmanship. Moody's calm announcement became legendary in aviation circles. The passengers and crew formed the Galunggung Gliding Club, a group that meets to remember the night they fell from the sky and lived. Moody later said the incident taught him that no matter how bad things get, keep working the problem. Keep trying. Don't give up, because sometimes at 12,000 feet when everything seems lost, an engine restarts. June 24, 1982 was the night all 4 engines shut down. It was the night a 747 flew into a volcano's invisible plume and became a glider. It was the night 263 people should have died and didn't. Because 3 men in a cockpit stayed calm, worked the problem, and brought everyone home. The lesson isn't just about volcanic ash or engine failures. It's about what happens when everything goes wrong and you keep flying anyway. When the instruments are dead, the windscreen is opaque, and the engines are silent, you still have altitude, airspeed, and skill. You still have a chance. And sometimes that's enough.